Hello everyone, you're here with H. You've probably read the title, so just expect a bit more of a serious video than the usual romance scam stuff, just because it's important to look at cases like this as well, since this channel predominantly is around scams, so it is important to look at stuff like this as well, alongside poking fun at the haha, you've you fell in love with someone who crash landed a plane in a jungle and stuff. So it's a warning. If you don't like this kind of stuff, then feel free to click off if you want, but let's get into it.
Science News has learned there has been a surge in the number of victims of so-called sextortion seeking help. Doubled last year to 19,000. And of those, over a third were sextortion, where victims are scammed into sending explicit images and are then often blackmailed by criminal gangs.
Gangs? Bro, I was going to, just touch on individuals such as ex-partners and stuff, but there's gangs, apparently. So I'm quite intrigued to learn more about this, if intrigued is even the right word to use in such a scenario. But as I don't know about these gangs and stuff like that, let's just talk about individuals, ex-partners, for example. Obviously, you cannot ever really know if a partner, once they become an ex, for example, if they are going to abuse the fact that you've sent them images and videos and stuff of you nude. Let's be honest, we're all adults here, right? You can never really know that such images are going to be used or abused, we'll say. However, I will say, I do understand if you are in a relationship, and I see it online where people do think pieces. Oh, my partner doesn't send me this type of image or this type of video. Do they really love me type vibes? You need to get a grip of yourself. Let's be honest here. If you are meeting up with your partner regularly and you are engaging in sexual acts together, do you need the images? Do you need the videos? Right? So don't be manipulated, essentially, and don't be gaslit into being forced to send such imagery to your partner. Just get a grip of yourself. If you are someone who likes to say those kind of things or manipulates your own partner to sending those type of things, just let them send it by their own intuition, I guess. And at least then it will be a lot more natural, a lot more the vibes. I'm trying to think of the word, but it will be a lot more naughty if your partner just by their own volition sends it to you and you haven't forced them to send it, if that makes sense. So if you're on the flip side and you are the partner being asked for such images and you're not comfortable doing so, if you are comfortable doing so, again, this is your own relationship, just do so at your own risk type vibes. But if you're not comfortable doing so and you've communicated this with your partner, I would recommend potentially seeking some professional support, because if in such
A few moments later.
if you don't receive a nude image from your partner and you start crying about, you have bigger issues going on inside your brain than you like to believe. So I would recommend getting professional support, because the manipulation is already starting for such a small thing. So that's my thoughts on nude imagery in general. I mean, if you both exchange it, you're both happy to do so, that's one thing. But if you can not even recognize, because I was going to say some guys, predominantly it's guys asking for this imagery, but it's not uncommon for women to ask as well. But if you know that your partner is uncomfortable sending them for whatever reason, they just might not like to have such images saved on someone's phone, even if you are their partner. Get a grip of yourself if you are going to force them to send it.
Data obtained by ITV News suggests there were 176 reports of child sextortion last year alone.
Now, look, if you've watched this channel long enough, and I hope to God in this world that everyone watching this feels the same way, but you never know who this video falls into the hands of or the eyes of, and it's very dirty eyes if it's fallen into the type of person that I'm going to now say, but I absolutely hate Sledditors, right? And I have to say it that way. I've replaced the PR with SL because there's no PR team on this world that can save you if you are a Sledditor. I absolutely hate Sledditors. What, I don't give a shit who they are, their status, right? The amount money they might have. I don't give a shit. I hate them. And I hope you do as well. I cannot fathom why anyone finds children, you know, attractive. And I'm not sure if this is a scam. The title mentions scam, but obviously we'll get into it. But to the scammers who maybe they don't find mine as attractive, right? And they are just solely targeting children because they are more vulnerable to being, I don't know about more, but especially teenagers, for example. You know, if someone tells you that they have your image of you nude and, oh, give me this money, for example, teenagers are going to, in my opinion, they're going to feel more pressure to give the money because their life could be ruined, and teenage pressure in general from their friends and society as a whole, right, is a lot stronger. I give the example, not exactly the same, of course, but in my teens, I felt a lot of pressure looks-wise, so I can only imagine the ramped up devastation that a child or a teenager would feel for someone. My mum is calling me in the middle of this, so I apologize. I'll be back. Hello, I'm back now. If I can remember what I was talking about, I think I was talking about the increased pressure on children and teenagers, especially in a situation like this. So I understand they are more likely to pay to avoid such a situation. But I think when I started this point, I was going to say that scammers in general are sacks of shit, right? Let's not get it twisted. Which I don't know why you would get it twisted. Untangle that pretzel. Thank you very much. But to scam like this, to children, to teenagers, when the scammer most likely is a grown adult, you deserve not jail time, all right? And probably what I want to say could not even be allowed on YouTube, but whatever you're thinking in your head that the scammer deserves, they probably deserve it.
One of the victims was 16-year-old Murray Downey. He tragically took his own life in December after falling victim to a sextortion scam online. His parents, Rose and Mark Dowie, told Sam Leader how their lives have been shattered.
So Murray had a season ticket, he'd come here every weekend with his mates?
Yep, this is where they were. He sat along here and I...
First of all, before we get too far into this, it's not it's not uncommon, right? It would be naive of me to sit in this chair and say that younger individuals, as a young individual myself, but younger individuals don't feel this type of feeling that they want to end themselves, right? To but to just hear it, right? It always is like driving a dagger through my heart, right? To hear that a 16-year-old felt the need, right, to do this just to avoid any potential backlash of sending an image, right? I'm gonna be objective, of course. When we hear more and learn more, I will be objective despite such a tragedy, because I do think it's important to not shy away from such tragedy and to tackle it head on. But please, everyone, this isn't so much to do with this right now, but if you do have people in your life who are younger, and I see this a lot with older generations who think that younger people, what are you so upset about? You've got this, the classic, you've got a roof over your head, right? Oh, there's food on the table. Why are you upset for? Blah, blah. But you don't know what's going on, though, do you? Because clearly, by you speaking like that, you don't truly know what's going on in this young person's life. Again, I've been hounded before for giving parenting advice, right? But if you do have children and you say similar things to your children, please, I urge you to understand that just because they're young, it doesn't mean their brain their brain has some sort of filter for negative experiences. It goes in, comes out. It's not like that. So please check up on the young people in your life just as much as you would your own age or older people. Please.
16-year-old Murray Dowie from Dunblane had been enjoying Christmas with his parents and two brothers.
He went up to his room as normal. It transpires he was contacted by somebody claiming to be a young girl.
That young girl was actually a scammer who tricked him into sharing an intimate image and blackmailed him with it.
Someone explain to me, of all scams, right? You're a sack of shit for scamming such a young person anyway, right? But of all the scams, you have to ask this person, this young person, for an intimate picture. Like, not only are you a scammer, but you are a sledditor as well. I don't care you're posing as some young girl. You're a sledditor as well. So, the things I want to do to you, like, if this scammer was stood in front of me right now, I don't care. The things I would do, I'd be in prison probably, right? I can't understand, of all scams, you have to do this. That's not me excusing other scams, by the way. But I just can't understand. Like, you have to be a sick individual to do this.
Hours after he'd become a victim of sextortion, Murray took his own life.
Hours.
I was watching football, next thing I heard, bro was screams like I've never heard in my life before, so it was absolutely horrendous. He was a great kid. Can't believe it's gone.
How is it possible that you can have a happy, healthy 16-year-old and within a few hours he'd taken his own life?
Man said, how? What kind of stupid question is this? Huh? You're not reading the room right now? How is it possible you've gone from having your son who's quiet to now he's passed away? What's wrong with you? What kind of stupid question is this? That's actually triggered me quite a bit. Don't ask stupid questions like that to grieving parents, you donkey. Or that might just be my emotions running wild right now, and, perhaps I've just been too cynical. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts. Is that a good question to ask here? What do you want them to say exactly? Like, what? He was here, now he's not here. What answer are you looking for here exactly? Anyway, the objectivity that I was talking about earlier, right? I'm doing my very best, by the way, to not cry, because I'm someone, I don't want to cry on this camera. I'm a very ugly crier. But it might happen. Who knows? The objectivity here. You cannot obviously know what your child is doing 24/7. I don't think it's possible. But if you are someone who knows what they're doing 24/7, you've overstepped serious boundaries, in my opinion. I understand parents being protective, but then to go one step further and you know their whereabouts at every time, or what they're doing on their phone, what they're searching on the computer, right? In my opinion, you are overstepping some boundaries, especially at 16 years old. He's starting to come into his own, we'll say. You need to back off a bit, but again, when situations like this happen, can I fault the parent for being too protective? I don't know. But I mean, in this case where he has sent such an intimate image of himself, I don't think the parents would have any idea that this is going on, because, he would have kept that private, right? I will say, on the objectivity side of things, once your children are able to understand the dangers online, even in the real world, I would educate, or I would hope that people educate their children to understand that not everyone is who they say they are, especially online, with how easy it is to mask yourself. And as I was saying in the beginning about sending images and stuff, when it's in a relationship, that's one thing to discuss amongst yourselves. But to a stranger, and to, at such a young age as well, educate your children to not send such images, especially to a stranger you've just met. I don't think there's anything more really to say about that. Just to, ensure that these younger people understand that, I understand probably in that moment you're speaking with, who you think is a young girl. In that moment, he must have felt excited and happy, right? I understand it. But please educate your children to understand that not everything is as it seems. And to be honest, even if you are older, right? If he was 23, for example, don't send these type of images to a stranger online. It doesn't matter if you've spoke with them for a few days or a few weeks. They are essentially a stranger. You've never met this person. So don't send any images. And it sucks that it got to a stage where he felt the best course of action was to take his own life. And that's where I was talking about the pressure of being a teenager, a child, essentially. I mean, you could say, 16 is a teenager, but he's a child, man. I'm not saying if he was older, he wouldn't have felt similar, and wanted to end it, right? But at that age, it's just increased pressure. Being so young, and you don't know much, right? And that must have felt like his world was gonna end. People again, at that age, the peer pressure and all that kind of stuff. He didn't want his nude to be seen. He didn't know it's a scam. So please, everyone, educate your children once they are able to understand such things. Editing H here, just very quickly. Recording H mentions children a lot. Your children, perhaps, but it just, this kind of advice, I would hope, would be instilled into any young person. Your nephews, your nieces, for example. It doesn't have to be your children. So just wanted to clarify. Again, I'm not sitting there acting as if I'm some, parenting guru or something. It's just general advice you could use for any young person who you might know who needs to hear this sort of thing if they are online a lot. So just in case anyone is gonna type, oh, stop coming at parents or something like that, it's not what I'm trying to say at all. So hopefully that makes sense.
Raising my little boy, to think of my little boy in such distress and not to have reached out for help, it's awful, and I don't want it.
Her saying that as well, alongside educating your children to not believe everything that they see online, please educate your children that it is okay, even in such, it feels embarrassing. This person has your nude and stuff. Educate them. It is okay to speak to others, especially your parents, about whatever it is that might be going on, even if it's embarrassing to you. Please do so. Editing H here again. I just wanted to also point out that I know everyone's family is not the best, or they may have a bad relationship with their parent. I'm lucky and recognize that, again, I'm lucky. I was blessed to have the mum that I have. I'm able to talk to her since I was young about anything, right? There was no, we'll say, boundaries, right? There was no, we could just discuss anything. It was like a friend, right? So I'm lucky. I'm not naive to the fact I'm lucky. I'm not going to sit there and say that it's the best thing for everyone. Yeah, go tell your parents anything. It's fine because everyone's parents are different. But in that case where perhaps you don't have the best relationship with your parents, you can't really speak about this kind of stuff to them, speak out to anyone you can trust. Doesn't have to be a family member. If you think it is within your best interest, and it probably is anyway, regardless if you speak to parents or not, probably in the best interest to seek professional support in that instance. I know it can feel like your world is ending. I'm kind of aiming this to potentially any young person watching, but I'd like to think anyone could use these words, I guess. Do seek professional support. I know it might feel like your world is ending, such a private imagery. I know, in the hands of someone criminal, essentially, will feel like a brick has been dropped on your head. But I don't even want to say be calm, because I know it's not exactly easy to be calm in that situation, but don't allow yourself to think that everything will crash down on you, right? Not sure if that's harsh to say, but is it as easy as saying, I'm not trying to say just, pick yourself up, brush it off, nothing's happened, right? But don't allow yourself to feel like there's no point now, everything's finished, right? I really want that to be at the front of people's mind. It feels bad now, especially in this moment. You don't realize it's a scam. You think everything's gonna crash down on you. So do please seek professional support. There is a way out of this. And yeah, to be honest, it's probably one of the most difficult videos I've ever recorded. And usually editing H is a lot more composed in chiming in with some words. But yeah, Yeah, you can see I'm struggling here, basically. So please, I hope it makes sense. Just, it's not the end, even though it feels like it is. There is a way out of any scam. There is a way out. And also, whilst I'm still here, Murray, I do wish him a restful, peaceful. I hope he rests in peace, and condolences to his family.
In this office, staff are exposed to fear and panic from dozens of sextortion victims every week.
Hi, Revenge Porn Helpline, Anna speaking.
It's a sextortion report. Like most cases, the caller had met a girl on a social media site, but it wasn't a girl.
He'd been receiving the threats for a few days. They then added all of his kind of friends and family into like a big group chat. They had actually shared the content into the group chat, which just obviously kind of adds a whole other layer to things.
Although this victim didn't send any money, many do.
Sometimes people have kind of sent a lot of their sort of university loan, they're kind of left with very little money.
Chris used to scam people out of thousands of pounds, but now works with an organisation trying to stop romance fraud. He fears for his safety, so we've protected his identity.
Let me know your thoughts about that. I mean, I understand now he's doing good, but should own your mistakes. You fear for your safety, but reveal yourself. Like, is one thing to give someone second chances. Some people don't deserve a second chance. Now, you exercise with caution, of course, in your own relationships, who and who doesn't deserve a second chance. Or in general life, doesn't have to be a relationship. But someone like this, do you think they deserve a second chance? Do you think they deserve the opportunity to have their face hidden? I'm on the fence.
Make millions and millions of dollars from scam. So everyone wants to make that kind of money too.
Not everybody, though. Yeah, I mean, sure, I want to make that kind of money. Yeah. But I'm never going to scam someone because I have morals. I am a human being. I don't like to consider these people human beings because I think a human being, at the very least, I think I said peeing there, by the way. But when pee exits your body, it's getting rid of, toxins from within. So I might call you a human peeing, actually, because you are toxic. I'd like to make this kind of money. Never going to do that because I'm a human being, and I like to think human beings, at the very least, show some kind of compassion to other human beings. But, and I know someone might argue that I'm quite harsh on the romance scam victims, for example. But I'm harsh just so that they understand how much of a fool they've been, and it doesn't happen again. Because enabling and babying these people just doesn't help anyone. So for you to throw in everybody wants to make that kind of money too, you're doing backflips right now to try and justify what you used to do. And who's to say that he stopped scamming, huh? How do we know this?
Realise the damage that they're doing.
Where is he?
Okay, they're killing people who just want to make money.
Showing how-to guides on blackmailing.
So if you're ready to start the blackmailing, you can just inbox me on WhatsApp.
Multiple accounts linked across YouTube, Instagram and
What?
TikTok, sharing detailed methods of how to extort someone, some with hundreds of thousands of views.
Do you know what pisses me off, right? As thankful as I am to YouTube, for example, for this platform they've given me, I know it's a small one, but it's a platform nonetheless. These, apps in general, social media, and I've seen it with Twitter recently a lot. Just the stuff that is allowed to be put out and posted is just insane to me. It doesn't make sense to me that there are literal sleditors on platforms allowed to continue profiting from their content. It's just insane to me. And then stuff like this as well. There needs, You know, the stuff that gets flagged or whatever on these platforms could be the most minuscule thing, right? You'll call out someone being racist on Twitter, for example. You'll get blocked. You'll get your account taken down. But hey, you know, on these apps, come and teach people how to essentially kill others. Yeah, if I didn't have this channel, man, I'd live in a forest and get away from social media.
Blackmailing scripts, one said, "I will make your life so miserable. I'm posting your nude photos. I'm going to make you die in pain."
They were going to share this with all his contacts would have felt like it hit the end of his world. But it wouldn't have been, even if they had done that, it wouldn't have been the end of his world. We'd have got over it, we'd have helped him through it.
Happening to you, that is your absolute route out of it. Just switch the phone off and walk away from them.
Get help.
Go and get help. Yeah. I wish Muzz had done that. But
He wouldn't have known, though, innit? I mean, I believe. Actually, no. It would be naive of me to believe that if he knew about scams, he would have just walked away easily from it. That's naive of me to say. I don't know. I didn't know him, of course, so I can't speak about his, you know, his mental strength. I'll say I don't know how easy it would have been for him, even if he did know about scams. But for the people who do watch this, and you are maybe in a similar position, it doesn't have to be you're a young person. Maybe you're older and you're in a similar position, because it definitely happens to older people as well. Just recognize it is a scam. But first and foremost, please don't send any images in general. I know they get you, they hook you with the romance. You know, we'll exchange images together and stuff like that, but don't send it. You don't know this person. Even if you did know this person, you'd still exercise caution. So if you are someone in that position, or you have people who are younger in your life, just educate them on these things and tell them that it is okay. If they are ever in such a position and they did send images, it is okay. Come talk to us. We don't care. And let them know that they do have a shoulder to lean on if shit goes left.
Filming for this report, I spoke to numerous victims who said even years later they still think back to the terror they felt. In Murray's case, Police Scotland told us that they are working with authorities in Nigeria. Murray's family very much hope that continues so that they can get justice.
I'd love to pose the question, will anything come of this? Will anything come of that? I don't know, man. We've seen romance scams. Hundreds and thousands of dollars have been stolen. Nothing ever happens. Nothing ever gets solved. I don't want to go too much into what I think of the police in general, to be honest, but I'm not sure how much care they'll show. I hope I'm wrong, though. Prove me wrong. I'd love to see the people who caused this apprehended, but let me know your thoughts.
When we were doing the research for this story, we came across multiple social media videos which were promoting these scams. Now, that could suggest that it's organised crime gangs that are behind, that are operating overseas, that are behind this increase in sextortion cases that we're seeing.
I get what he means by gangs now, though. I don't know if you would call them gangs, but for example, if you get scammed by a romance scammer, your name is now on a list. Other scammers will then, who are, you know, cohorts of this scammer, will see the list. Oh, I'll give it a go then. So I'm not sure if you would call that a gang, but I get it.
TikTok, Meta, and YouTube, who we all spoke about in that report, said they have taken down the accounts that we flagged to them. As Murray's dad said in that report, so if you do find yourself in this situation, don't panic, go and get help.
If you've made it this far, I recognize that it's very much so a heavier video to digest than the other ones. But I do think it's very important to talk about these, especially since this channel does lean towards covering scams or commentating scams. So I do think it's important that there are, you know, we need to look at these type of scams. And for example, we see a lot of elderly victims on this channel. It is important to acknowledge that even young people, not even just the romance scam side of things, more, dare I say, it is not even dare I say, it is more sinister to target younger individuals in such a manner. At least in my opinion, it's important to address this and look at this and educate people. Now, I'm not saying that I am that educator because our channel is not the biggest, right? But I hope in the case that one person watching this, maybe you didn't know about this, maybe you do have someone younger in your life who can benefit from learning about such things. I hope it can help at least even one person. And please, everyone, take from this the knowledge that despite your age, if someone is asking you for pictures, and don't send them any pictures, but if you do send them pictures, for whatever reason, you have fallen into that trap, just don't pay attention, right? If they do blackmail you, and perhaps they are not just blackmailing, maybe they will do something, seek support. Let your friends and family know that, hey, I've had this image stolen from me. Well, you gave it, but you know what I mean. If in case you do see it, just know this is the story behind it. So hopefully you did learn something. I'll see you guys next time. I don't really have anything else to say other than please educate yourselves and your loved ones. I'll see you guys next time. Much love. Please take care of yourselves. If you do want to see romance scams, you do want to learn about them, they'll be up there. If you do want to watch another scam related video, I'll put something there. But most importantly, please take care of yourselves. And there will be no bye on this one. Rather, take care of yourselves.